It's going, man.
Good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, pretty good, man. How's it going? What made you pop into the stream today, brother? What's going on with you?
Yeah, so I've heard of your channel. I think I've seen a few of your videos. I'm an atheist,
Mhm.
and probably the biggest problem for me rejecting a belief in God would be the problem of evil. I'm sure you're all familiar with the problem of evil, but it basically postulates that if God is all powerful and all good, evil could not exist. And since evil does in fact exist, therefore there could not be a God. The only way around this that I've seen is to either reject the idea that God is all good or reject the idea that God is all powerful, or both. So I would just like to hear your best arguments against that idea.
Well, since we
Did you
only
say
got
you was atheist?
one second. Since we only got one Muslim here, Sadie, he's family, so we know what he gonna say. What do you guys want to address this? You guys want to deal with gangs, or what y'all want to do?
Well, the warden now hasn't spoken yet, so he could probably speak and then I'll go.
No, I'm asking the panel because we deal with Muslims. So do you guys want to do you guys want to address
Yeah, this
gangs,
seems to
or
be like a Muslim life, isn't it? So
it's up to you. I can make an atheist live and then have him come back, or we can deal with it now. It's up to you.
just make an atheist live and then he can come back. Because this is a Muslim
Gangs.
life, bro.
Okay, yeah, right. So
I
gangs.
really think it's just simple to answer. It's just a simple answer to it.
Well, how about this? Let's deal with it. Let's deal with it because I don't want him to feel like So let's deal with it for about 20 minutes. All right.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Sadie, you got 20 minutes?
One for 20 minutes right now.
Yeah, man, I'm chilling, bro. Yeah.
I'll stay out of this because I've been holding the limelight for some time. So I'll go to 20
Realistically,
minutes.
that's all our problem because we all believe in God. So, but go
Okay,
ahead,
that's
go ahead,
good.
word.
All right, I'll start this in 3, 2, 1. 20 minutes starting now.
Word, you said it was easy. You want to address them?
Oh yeah, well, evil existing and God being all good is not like mutually exclusive. It's not like one thing have to predicate upon the other, right? Evil is just, it comes from free will. It's a byproduct of people having free will. So God is all knowing, he's all loving, but he's not gonna handcuff you to do certain things. So when humans enact upon our free will, we have the freedom to choose whether to follow God's laws or don't follow God's laws. And everything that's against what God had outlined and outlaid for us to be good, we can choose not to enact upon them. We do counter to what God have said, so that's just evil. Anything that's not of God is evil. It's of the devil. Because God only wants the goodness for everyone, right? So if you choose with your free will to not do those things, it's inherently evil.
Okay, I see several problems with that. And I just want to ask you a few questions to test your consistency. Do you believe there is evil in heaven?
Evil in heaven?
Yeah, does evil exist in heaven?
No, of course not. God can't exist around evil.
Okay.
That's why the devil got kicked off
Sure.
from heaven.
Does free will exist in heaven?
Sure does.
Okay, then that would negate the proposition you made.
No, it wouldn't.
It would. You just admitted
No.
free will exists in heaven and evil does not exist in heaven, and therefore there is no issue with God creating a universe with human beings where evil does not exist and free will exists. So
No. Hold on. Because free will, did you get what I said? Free will is that we can choose not to do what God wants.
well,
right?
you
We
just
still
said
have that. Hold on.
Okay, sure, go
What
ahead.
I'm saying. Listen what I'm saying. If we're in heaven, then we know for sure, for certain, that there is a God, and we lavish in all of the comfortabilities, all of the things that encapsulate heaven. So we know what it feels to be with God in heaven. So we wouldn't want to mess that up because it's the most beautiful thing that we ever encountered as humans,
Okay, sorry.
as angels.
Sorry, this is still a contradiction. You said the reason evil exists is because of free will. You told me there is some realm or place in which free will exists, but no evil exists. So if
Hey, Ward, can I help him out with this? Can I say something on this real quick?
could you just let me finish what I had to say?
Let him finish real quick, and then I'll say something, and you can go say it.
I'll be the last person to speak after everyone.
Yeah, so your initial proposition was that evil is the result of free will. God gave us free will. So the problem is, if there was an all-good God, he would have an interest in evil not existing. Now, you told me there is a place, wherever it is, heaven, where free will exists and evil does not exist. And if your God is all-powerful, he would be able to make all places, all realms, all areas free of evil while enabling free will. So, sorry, I don't know if I misspoke. He would be able to make everywhere, earth, heaven, anywhere, free of evil while enabling free will. So if you're going to tell me evil exists because of free will, you just contradicted yourself because you admitted free will can't exist without the existence of evil.
Well, you thinking it's a necessity. It necessitates free will necessitates evil.
I never said
You
that.
still have a choice. You still have a choice to enact upon that evilness.
So evil could exist in heaven.
What did I just tell you?
Well, then that's
That the
another
devil-
contradiction.
That the devil was trying to, because pride is evil. He was taken upon pride, right? And that got him kicked out of heaven.
So you can get kicked out of heaven?
That's what the devil, yeah. As an
So
angel,
any
yeah.
person in heaven can get kicked out of heaven?
An angelic being as the devil that was.
That's
there
not what
from
I'm
the
asking. I'm
start.
just asking, can any one person get kicked out of heaven?
Once you're in heaven, and if you can't enact upon that. Well, you can enact upon your free will, but us being in the
I'm asking you a simple question. Can any one person get kicked out of heaven? Yes or no?
I don't think so.
Okay, then that's clearly a contradiction. If you
No,
believe
listen,
free will
okay. Do
can
you know what
exist in
gets us
heaven
to
without the presence of evil, and you believe
Do you
there's an
know what gets us to
all-powerful,
heaven
all-good
as a
God,
Christian?
that would make it impossible for evil to exist on earth because
Do
God
you
would
know
have
what
the
gets us
power
to heaven as a
to
Christian?
eliminate evil while enabling free will.
Do you know what gets us to heaven as a Christian?
Asking for mercy or forgiveness or whatever.
Well, no. We took upon the free gift of Christ, and when
I'm sorry, but that has nothing to do with.
Yes, it does. Yes, it
the
does.
topic.
Listen to what I'm saying. I said 3 words, and you're saying no.
Look, you're just not acknowledging the contradiction. It's a clear contradiction.
I'm acknowledging what you just said.
Okay, go on
Okay.
if you believe you
So
have an explanation.
once we once we rise back in our incorruptible bodies and we're in heaven, then we are not of sin anymore. Right? So we took on Christ's incorruptible nature. So we don't long and want for earthly things. You understand what I'm saying? So we wouldn't
This
have,
does not resolve
we
the
wouldn't
contradiction.
we wouldn't have the need or the urge to commit these
Again,
sinful
this
things.
does not
now.
resolve the contradiction. I'm sorry, that just isn't an argument. It does not resolve the contradiction.
Just because you're saying it doesn't resolve the contradiction doesn't make it true.
How? Okay, sorry. Again, just to spell things out, if God is all good and he's all powerful, he would have an interest in ensuring there is nothing but good. You claimed the reason there is evil is because of free will. You just admitted God is able to create circumstances in which free will exists and evil does not exist. Therefore, if evil exists anywhere, that would mean God is either not all good or not all powerful. So you are admitting to a contradiction, and what you just said had nothing to do with those propositions, and it does not resolve the contradiction.
Yes, I did, because I said just because we have free will doesn't necessitate that it's evil. I answered that directly. Just
No,
because we have free
that-
will,
that has
you're-
nothing
hold on,
to do with
you're-
the topic. You didn't
this what
resolve
I'm
the
saying.
contradiction. I'm sorry.
You're equating free will with evilness. No, I
No,
said
I
we have a
didn't.
choice. We have a listen what I'm saying. On earth, we have a choice that the byproduct is free will, is evilness.
You
We have that
admitted
choice.
free
We
will
still have a
exists in
choice.
heaven. So if evil does not exist in heaven and free will exists in heaven, there is no reason for evil to exist on earth. If assuming there is an all good, all
How
powerful
do you equate that? You just making a false
Based on your own reasoning, you admitted free will can't exist without the presence of evil. You admitted evil cannot be committed in heaven. You admitted that people can't commit evil in heaven. They can't get cast out of heaven. And you admitted there is free will. So if free will if evil exists anywhere, assuming God is all good and all powerful, that would be a contradiction. You did not resolve the contradiction. If he's just going to make the same argument, could I just debate somebody else, like God Logic or something, somebody who has a different argument?
Could I chime in for a second if you guys don't mind?
Yeah, sure.
Do you mind if I call you vegan, or do you like have a certain preference, or you don't care?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say vegan. Your initial, you can say statement was that. Could you restate it just to be precise? Because I don't want to straw man your view. So.
Yeah, so I'm talking about the problem of evil. It essentially postulates. It was a philosophical argument created by Epicurus, but it essentially postulates that if there is an all-good, all-powerful God, there could not exist any evil because no all-good God would allow evil to exist.
All right. So the first area where I want to begin with that is, how do you define evil, or how do you define good? What
I
are
don't
those?
need to define evil. We could call this an internal critique. I might have my own sense of evil. You might have your own sense of evil. That might be derived from the Bible. My sense of evil may be derived from other sources, but you could consider this an internal critique.
Do you consider that the same for good as well?
Yeah. Again, you could consider this an internal critique.
I think the definitions really do hinge, though. That's why I kept asking you what evil meant.
Well, do you?
Yeah, I mean, if it's gonna be just a simple internal critique only, I don't think that would be fair. I do think that
No, it's
we should
fair.
be able to critique your position as well too. Like, for example, right, if you're gonna dissect what we believe in regards to evil and what will take place in heaven and on earth, I do
Well-
believe that you should also be able to substantiate your position on what even evil is, because if you don't do that, then the whole conversation is
Well,
kind of
look,
null and void, because
I
you don't really
think-
have a position on anything that you're trying to refute.
Sorry, so I think we fundamentally agree on a lot of moral values. Like, we would agree that the Holocaust was wrong. We would agree that murdering people is wrong, stealing is wrong. And there's things that rise to the level
Where do you
of
get your
evil.
establishment that that's wrong, though?
I don't need to.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What do you
if
mean you
not,
don't need
then-
to?
I'm sorry, but this is going to turn into a debate on moral realism. I'm not interested in debating moral realism.
Wait a minute.
You're making
But you're
claims that
debating-
are
but
grounded
you're
morality,
debating
but
morality.
you fail to
Exactly,
substantiate
but-
a source for it.
Exactly.
Well, look,
you have to
if-
substantiate that first
Yes.
in order to get an establishment, which is the reason why you don't understand what the word and I was actually telling to you.
So
Now, so the problem is this: when we flip sort of the line of questioning on you to kind of get a better understanding of where you understand evil is coming from, now you've said that I don't have to explain that. Well, then if you don't have to explain it, then I don't really think that there's anything to explain to you, because everything that we explain to you could ultimately be thrown out after the end of the debate. So we need to have each come to this platform with the standard grounds and beliefs and where we get that from in order to have a consistent argument, because anything that can be talked to you and said to you would literally legitimately just be thrown out at the end of the
No.
conversation. Okay, well then tell us. Okay, well then
so
tell
I
us
have
why
two
do you
things.
believe that? Well then tell us why do you believe that the H cost was wrong?
Why the Holocaust was wrong?
Yeah, why do
Yeah,
believe it's
you
wrong?
kind of like we say H cause because we don't want to get
Oh,
censored.
okay.
But
We
yeah.
don't want to do that on YouTube.
No, no
If-
issues. We just don't
if
want to
that's
get
a problem,
censored.
Sure, if that's a problem for you, then sure. Look, I'm pretty sure in your own Christian Bible, it's stated that God has given us moral agency and wisdom
Do you
to
believe
make
that?
moral
You
choices.
believe God gave you moral? You
It's
believe God gave you that?
possible. I'm agnostic to it. It's possible that's why I have a moral, a moral.
But we're not
compass.
arguing possibilities, though. We're arguing truth. This is the reason why when you come to
Well-
us, we have a standard belief system. So, can you give me a standard belief system on why you believe that the H cost is wrong? I don't want possibility because then that means that it can change, right?
Okay, well,
Tomorrow you can say, well, it was right? Because somebody can change your mind. So,
okay.
please don't argue
so,
possibilities. Please argue a standard grounded belief.
What do you mean by grounded?
Grounded means that it's standard, it's staple.
The
you believe it is
justification
100%
basically
true.
for why you believe things are wrong and right.
Well, let me ask you
The
this.
source or justification.
Okay, let me ask you this: Does God think the Holocaust is wrong?
This isn't about what God thinks. I think you know what God
Right,
thinks.
but I'm just
if you
wondering-
believe He exists,
I'm
it's
just
about
wondering-
it's about what you.
Well,
it's
this,
about what you
this
believe.
leads to my point.
And how do you know
This
that your belief
leads to
system
the-
is
this
standard and
leads to the
true?
point that I'm trying to make. Does God believe the Holocaust is wrong?
Of course, God believes the Holocaust is wrong.
Okay, so what is his stable moral grounding for that claim?
Because He's God, He's the creator of the universe, and He creates the rules. This is the reason why we follow a God, and we can have a standard belief system on what
So
is
there's
right and
no
wrong.
ground.
Because
So,
we have a-
so God has
because
no
we have a
grounding for
standard
his
moral
position.
system coming. Yeah, we have a standard moral system coming
Like-
from
like
an all
if I
powerful.
can
So
say
you
something
can't-
real
Hold
quick.
on. Because we have a standard moral compass that we can staple and say, this is the reason
Yeah, but God
why.
doesn't have that.
This is
But
the
God
reason
doesn't
why
have
that
that.
this is. God actually does have that.
Give me
This is the
a
reason why you
basis
pointed to the
for
Bible.
why
This is the
God-
reason why you pointed to the Bible, trying to tell us how we have a moral standard in believing the H cost was wrong.
So-
now all of a sudden we don't have that.
You're dodging.
Now all of a
So
sudden we don't have it.
You're
Like,
dodging.
if you don't mind, I think I'll chime in. So I think
wait.
oh.
He was asking me a question. So
Okay.
you're dodging. You demanded that I give some sort of stable moral reasoning for why the Holocaust is wrong.
I did. The
What is
creator of the
God's
universe, the
moral
owner of the whole
reasoning
world.
for why the Holocaust is wrong?
What do you mean? Why? What do you mean?
What
what
is
I don't
God's
need. I don't need to
reasoning
dice.
for why the Holocaust is wrong?
I don't need to. I don't need
Your
to.
life, I think I can like
So you
chime
can't
in.
even
on that.
justify your own God's
I
moral
don't need to
beliefs.
dissect what is God's moral reasoning for that. The creator of the universe has rules that are grounded for his creation to follow. This is the reason why we follow these rules. Now, whether we want to believe that some of these things are immoral and moral or not, this is up to you, the human, to justify that within yourself. But we as humans can have a cognitive understanding as to why we follow what we follow is moral, which is the reason why we argue with guys like Sadie and people that have other belief systems to show you that our God and our God's morality stands strong over all of your others. Now, the reason being for everything, we don't know every single thing about God, so we can't
I think I
ask
got a
God.
better answer.
I'm not
for that.
asking
We can't,
you
and we,
to
and we
answer-
can't ask God and say, hey, why did you make all of these rules? Why did you give us the Ten
So you
Commandments?
can't give
What's
any
the
moral
background
reasoning for why
all
God
of
would
these?
think a certain thing.
Well, yeah, I can. I can give you. I can give you this, but what I'm saying is this: once I give it to you, you're probably just going to ask another question. So let me give you the reasoning why. Let me give you the reasoning why God said mass murder in the way of the H cost is wrong. Is because unjustly unaliving someone, taking someone's life,
That's
is
question
just
begging.
clearly.
That's
yeah,
question
exactly.
begging.
No, it's not. It's not special.
That's
pleading
question
because
begging.
it. No, it's not question begging.
Your question,
No, it's
begging.
not question
You
begging.
are making a proposition that assumes the truthfulness of
it's
the
not,
conclusion.
No.
That's a
It's
fallacious
not
argument.
question. No. It's not question begging because you know why? We actually have a standard that we can actually take this system and bring it back to. You don't. You
have
don't. The
no
fact that I'm
basis.
saying- the
So
fact that
your
I'm
own
saying the
God
owner-
apparently has
Okay.
no stable basis
Do you
to
agree?
making moral
Wait.
claims.
Wait.
And when I asked you
One
to
second.
provide a
Do you
stable
agree?
basis,
Do you agree that the
you
owner?
made
Do you
a
agree that
fallacious
the owner?
argument.
Wait. Do you agree that the owner of the universe can create rules and standards for his creation?
He can do that, but whether or not that's
Okay,
moral
now-
or not
now-
is a
now,
separate
do you
question.
think- No. If he tells you that it's moral, what reason do you have to question his morality?
If God told you, spoke to you directly and said raping children is moral, do you have any ability to question his moral decisions?
Now that's a good question. Now watch this. If God was to tell you that, would that be a true God?
Well, that's exactly the problem we're kind of talking about with the problem.
No,
of
that's
evil.
actually not the problem. That's actually not the problem. See, because I can distinguish between the two, and I actually have a standard which grounds me in what
So,
I
by the way,
believe.
this is another
Show you why
contradiction.
that's not true.
This is
Wait,
another
wait,
contradiction.
I'm not.
So you
No.
literally said moral
It's not
values
another
come from God
contradiction.
without any basis.
It's
in
not
whatever
another.
God
It's
said
not another
is a moral
contradiction.
truth.
No.
And then when I told you,
It's not
if
another
God were to
contradiction.
make the
It's not another
proposition-
contradiction.
Life, if you don't mind, can I I was gonna ask you something.
Hold on,
but-
wait.
okay.
Give me a second. It's not another contradiction because what it is that you fail to realize is that I'm asking you for a solid position on where do you get your groundings from. I am getting what I am grounded in from the owner of the universe.
Here's
You
the
are not
problem.
getting your
This question
you are not
is pointless.
getting your moral belief from anywhere.
Here's the
Where
problem.
are you getting it from?
This question
Mix
is
it up as it
designed
goes.
to obfuscate, and we're going to end up getting into a discussion about moral realism rather than the
Wait a
problem
minute.
of evil. I'm not
Wait a
interested.
minute. Wait a minute though, vegan. I think I just answered your question to the best of my abilities because the problem is that I told you that I have a standard and I'm taking my responses to you back to the standard without trying to be
You
the
don't have a
standard.
standard. You have
No,
no
no, no,
standard.
Don't like
You
to
have
ask.
no standard.
No.
Hold
I
on,
do
guys,
have a
guys.
standard. The
You have no
creator
standard.
of the universe.
Can
What
I-
don't you understand?
So
Hold on,
can
everybody,
I-
please stop unmuting and let me talk to him. What don't you understand? That my standard is the owner of the universe.
Okay,
The creator of the
again-
universe. If I believe that the creator of the universe would bring in moral laws that are good, and we can see that they are good from his standard, right? Then we
You
know that
can't.
we are following, then we know that we are following a moral being based on the substance and the things that we get from this being. Now, I'm asking you, where do you get yours from? You continuously keep trying to critique where I'm coming from in
Okay,
my
I'll
position.
answer that.
But the problem is
I'll
you
answer
don't
that.
have one though, vegan.
Okay,
That's the
look,
point.
just
You
out
don't
of
have a standard.
So, just out of respect, I will answer that. But first, I just want to point out
Okay.
something. First, you said God creates the standards, and there's no way to question God. You made no argument for why any of God's moral propositions are based upon anything. You just said, well, it's God. Then when I asked you if God said raping children was okay, you would deny that moral proposition directly from God because you're using your own intuition, your own feelings and preferences to go against God. So you don't really
So you
care
would
what
have to
God
show
says.
him
The only
where
thing
did
you
God
care
say
about
that?
is whether or
Guys,
not God
please,
Show
guys,
him
I've
where
been
did
waiting.
God say that?
Sadie, please, I've been waiting to discuss with vegan. So,
So I've already.
Well,
I've
again,
already
I haven't
addressed
answered the
that.
question.
I've already addressed that. So now, vegan, where's your standard? What is your
It's-
standard?
it's
How
based
do
on my
you
own
know?
preferences.
How do you know? How do you know that the HCOS was wrong? How do you know that was wrong?
Well, I'm not a moral realist, so there's no objective basis to prove the truthfulness of any moral claim. It's
So there's
it's
no
subjective.
objective morality.
so you have no basis to condemn
Yo,
all H cost as immoral.
Caleb.
Well, it's
Hold
my
on,
own set of
man.
preferences, and you have no objective basis.
Vegan.
You have no objective basis to condemn the Holocaust.
Vegan.
But
Just
again-
answer the question. Vegan, just
Well,
answer the question. So do you have? Is there objective morality?
No.
Okay, so you have no right to go to another state where people are unaliving babies for fun, right? And say you guys are doing wrong. You have no you have no reason to say that, huh?
Well, there's no
you
objective
wouldn't
basis
have
for-
any problem with them saying, man, get out of here. We're doing this for fun. So what? Who cares what you think?
What is the objective basis for which you could say that?
Answer the question. Would you have a problem with somebody doing that in another state for fun?
What, murdering babies?
Yeah, for fun. This
Yeah,
is something that they do
obviously
for
I would.
fun. Why would you have a problem with that?
Because it goes against my preferences.
It goes against your preferences. What about theirs?
I don't care about their preferences because they're causing so much harm.
Now what if they don't
They
care
don't
about
care
your
about
preferences?
yours.
Well, again, that's why wars are fought. That's why the Civil War was fought. There were people
Okay.
who thought slavery was okay, and there were
Okay.
people who didn't
Okay.
think slavery was okay. And luckily,
Okay,
the
thank
people
you.
who didn't think slavery were
Okay,
successful.
thank you. So nothing. Okay, thank you. So nothing matters. Especially what you just said. Nothing matters.
I am an
It's all about
existential
whatever.
nihilist.
It's just all about what everybody else thinks, right? If a mass group of people believe that it's okay to do this, and I have nothing to do
Look,
with it, and I
if-
can't control it, well then it's nothing then, right? I can only say I feel like that's wrong. I can't really like actually claim that what they're doing is wrong.
What
I can only
objective
say
basis
because
do you
I
have
feel
to
like it's
claim?
wrong.
What objective
What if-
basis do you have to claim that?
I've already gave you that answer.
You
I've already
didn't.
gave you that answer.
You
don't
didn't.
like
You
it.
just said God. You just said
I've already
God
given you that
said
answer.
so.
You don't like it. The
Do
problem
you know
is
what
that you
objective
have not.
means? Do you know what
Vegan,
objective means?
Yes, and I
Objective
believe
means
that my
independent
objective
of any
standard,
mind. So can
and
you
I
make-
believe that my objective standard
You believe,
comes
so you
from
don't
the
even know.
owner
You
of
just
the
believe.
universe who creates what it is that is good, and he wants his.
That's not an
people to
argument
follow
for
what
an
is
objective
good.
moral standard.
Wait a minute. So are you saying that you have the ability to believe what's good and what's bad, but God doesn't?
I'm not saying that. I'm
Okay.
sure
So God knows what's good and what's bad, right?
Okay, I think we're getting a little too heated. And
Wait.
Look,
Vegan. So God knows what's good and what's bad, right? Just like you, right? You have the ability to know what's good and what's bad, but God doesn't.
Well, anybody with moral agency can have a set of preferences when it comes to moral standards. I'm not saying God couldn't.
Does
have
God
that.
know what's good and what's bad? Does the creator of the universe know what's good and what's bad?
Well, I don't know if he is allowing
Okay,
holocausts,
go ahead,
genocides.
Go ahead, Caleb. It's over. You lost.
I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
lose. By the way, we changed the topic. We were
You can't
talking
even tell
about-
me if God knows what's good or bad.
We were talking about
Yeah,
the
you
problem
do.
of evil, and you completely
You know what's
changed the
good or
topic
bad, but
because
you
you
don't
had
know
no
if God knows
argument.
what's good or bad. Okay.
And you still haven't made an
You
argument
don't want
about moral
anybody to
realism.
you don't want anybody to question what you believe is good or bad, but you're going to question what God says
I
is good or
wasn't
bad.
arguing about what is good or bad. I was arguing about the problem of evil. You completely changed the topic. I was trying to
argument
avoid
has
that,
to
and then
do-
we ended up
that
arguing
argument
about
has
moral
to do
realism.
with good and evil. The problem of evil has to do with good and evil, aka good
We
and bad.
accept evil
That's what
exists.
the argument
It
has
doesn't
to-
matter where our moral beliefs come from. If we all accept
It
that
does
evil
matter where our
exists,
moral
then
beliefs come from.
not with the topic of the problem.
You don't.
of
Your,
evil.
your moral beliefs aren't coming from anywhere but yourself, which
Well,
means
according
that
to you, they're
anyone
coming
else
from
can.
God. According
Which
to you,
means
they're
that
coming from
anyone
God.
else.
According to
Yeah,
your
God
religious
is the
beliefs, they're
creator
coming
in
from
the.
God.
God is
Whether I
the
believe that
creator
or
in
not
the.
is irrelevant.
God
According to
is
you,
the
they're coming from
creator
God.
in the universe. God is the creator of the entire universe. He is the reason why you exist.
Look, if you believe moral beliefs come from God, then it doesn't matter whether I believe moral beliefs come from God or not. They would be coming from God. So that this is a pointless discussion. Why are we
I'm gonna ask
talking
you
about
one more
this
time.
when I
I'm gonna ask you one
initially
more time.
wanted to debate the problem of evil?
Okay, and you don't know what evil is. That's the point. You don't know
You
what
don't know
evil
what
is.
evil
yet.
is.
I just told you what it was.
No, you
Our
don't.
God actually tells us what it is. And then we have the
No,
ability
you don't.
to use
No,
that.
you don't.
We have
And
the
this
ability to
directly
use
relates to
that
the
and
problem
utilize
of
that in
evil.
our daily lives.
No,
to move
you
forward
don't.
and
And
know
this
what
directly
else is wrong.
relates to the problem
Yes.
of evil. The
No.
only reason you agree with any of God's
I love
moral
how I answered your
propositions is
questions,
because
but you keep
you're
running
assuming.
I love how I answered your questions, but you keep running away from
I'm
mine.
not running
Do you
away
have
from
the
any
ability?
questions.
All right, vegan. Do
didn't
you
ask
have the
me a
ability to
question.
know
I'm
what's
trying
wrong
to
or right?
argue against you.
Vegan. Do you have the ability to know what's wrong or right? Vegan.
Again, I have my own moral preferences. I don't
It's
know
just a yes
exactly
or no
what you
question,
mean
brother.
by that question.
It's just a yes or no question. Do you
I don't
have
know
the
what you
ability to?
mean by the question. What do you
So
mean?
you don't
by
know what
that?
wrong or right is? So why are you
Well,
arguing the problem of evil?
I don't know what you mean by that. Can you explain? I don't know what that question means.
Do you have the ability? You just wait a minute.
I have
You
moral
just-
agency.
Wait a minute.
I'm
You
a
just
moral
said
agent.
The H, you just said the H cost was wrong. How did you? So what definition of wrong are you using?
Okay, let's just take a step back for a second.
Yeah, please, because I'm confused now.
The
What
problem,
definition of wrong
well,
and bad were you
let
using
me try
when you
to
said the H cost was wrong?
let me try to resolve some of this confusion. If you just give me a moment. So
Yeah, 'cause I'm a little lost.
so
Now you say you don't know what wrong or right means, but you just said the H cost was wrong. So what
if you
definition
would
of wrong
allow
are you using?
me to just explain and not interrupt, please. I would
Sure,
like
go
the
ahead.
discussion to stay respectful. I don't really want to have a shouting match or have people talking over each other. So
Sure,
would
but I
appreciate
asked you a series of yes or no questions and you ran from them.
Well,
I answered your questions directly
asked
to the
me,
best
like-
of my abilities.
Sorry, I don't want to have a meta argument. Can we just have a civil discussion, please? So I just want to resolve.
This is how I debate, bro. You
Can
can't.
I? Okay, well, this isn't really a debate.
That's
This is
honestly
just
why I
talking
passed you
over
off to
people.
somebody else, because.
Sorry, but you're not really a good debater. You talk over people. You change.
You
the
haven't answered my
subject,
questions,
you
but you're
ask
saying I'm not a good
irrelevant
debater?
questions.
You're running from my questions, but you're saying I'm not a good
You're
debater.
running from my debate
Do you have
proposition.
the ability
This
to?
has
Do you
nothing
have the?
to do with
do
my
you-
debate
I
proposition.
answered your proposition.
No,
Do you
you
have
didn't.
the ability to know what's wrong or right?
Yes, I'm a moral agent. I still don't know exactly what you mean by that
So
question.
does God
but
have the
yes.
ability to know what's wrong and right?
I suppose, since he's a moral agent.
Okay, thank
maybe.
you. So when he gives us what we need to know for what's wrong and what's right, what's the problem?
Okay, the problem is you're assuming any moral proposition created by God is correct because you agree with the
bad.
proposition. The reason the problem of evil is
The
important.
creator of the universe who knows everything.
You're interrupting
who
again.
knows
You're
ev-
interrupting
the creator
again.
of the
You're
universe
interrupting
who
again. I
knows
was just
everything.
talking. I was just explaining something.
Oh,
and then you
Vegan,
just
can you check the
interrupted.
chat? I sent a message to you, but
It's all good, man. Go ahead, bro. Y'all do your thing, man. He can't really answer none of my questions.
already. So one thing is, Vegan, it seems like your main, I can say, question, feel free to like correct me again because I don't want to strong interview, but you're trying to say like, okay, because someone obviously who believes morality comes from God. You're saying like, if God says X and Y what's the justification for that? Is that sort of what you're saying, or feel free to like clarify?
Well, the point I was trying to make
Uh,
was that so you're claiming moral propositions from God are objectively true. You haven't actually
Correct.
made an argument for that. The problem here is you're assuming all of these moral propositions are true because you agree with them. If God talked to you directly and you disagreed with the moral proposition, like when I asked if God told you child rape is okay, you would disagree because you would assume that's not a God. Well, this directly relates to the problem of evil. If evil exists and we're assuming there's an all-good, all-powerful God, that would mean evil would be logically impossible. And if you can't show some defeating factor for that contradiction, I don't know why you would assume the God you're listening to or the God you believe in is a morally good God. These propositions could be wrong, but you agree with them because, you believe in them because you agree with them. So I want to resolve the problem of evil, and so far, no one has given me an explanation for why the problem of evil doesn't result in a contradiction.
Okay, so one thing to begin with is it's not that I agree with them. It's ultimately I believe that God, being that morality coming from God, is that ultimately like he's, how do I say this? It's not that I agree with them. It's that I believe that they are true because of the source that they come from, if that makes sense. And like when your question of like, essentially, yeah, like what's the justification or reasoning for God? Do you believe that nature can, and I'll explain what I mean by this, can determine right and wrong?
Well, what do you like? Nature doesn't have a
Yeah,
mind.
ontology. I
don't
can
know what you mean.
elaborate if needed. Do you need me to elaborate?
Yeah, please explain.
Alrighty, so I just kind of wanted to use an analogy. I thought it was a bit analogous. I'll use like, I don't know, like a sport, for example, like basketball. So there was a man named James Naismith, and he is accredited, or he is thought to be the original, you can say, founder or the inventor of the sport, being that like all the rules and like the structure of it he came up with. So ultimately, being that like the sport, the rules and yeah, you can say the terms and conditions come from him, his nature, being that he's the originator, would ultimately decide the correct and false. I'm saying like nature, when I say nature, is like who you are, if that makes sense, can determine like your view or your, what's the better way to phrase this? Your position of authority. Basically, you have the ability to make certain decisions because of your position, if that kind of makes sense.
Okay, I don't know what that has to do with the problem of evil.
It does, because when you ask the why is it that like X is right because if God says so, I'm saying, of course, ultimately it's because of who he is.
So you're saying if God wanted an HCOST would be good, and HCOST would be good? So any moral proposition God makes is
ultimately, yes, I believe morality comes from him.
So if God believed there are no such things as true moral propositions, that would make anything okay?
I wouldn't necessarily say that that's possible.
Okay, this is so far this would be the only thing that would resolve the problem of evil. Evil just doesn't exist. So anything is good. So HCOSs are good, child abuse is good. That would be the only thing. So is that a logical explanation for why evil exists? God just permits it all?
Well, no, I know it kind of does circle back to how do you define evil, but for the sake, I'll just simply define it as like the absence of good.
It doesn't cycle back to how you define evil.
Can I go next?
None
You're
of this
ultimately
has to
just
do-
asking why
so
is what God
stop.
says true. That's basically what you're asking.
So all of you keep changing the topic to moral realism. We're not talking about moral realism. We're talking about if we acknowledge that evil exists, how could evil exist in a universe where there is an all-good, all-powerful God?
But
An
again,
all-good,
what I may
all-powerful
identify
God
as
could
evil
not
and
allow
you may be
evil to
different,
exist.
though.
Sorry?
But again, like that's why I keep saying what I or what you may label or call evil may be different.
So HCOS are good. Child abuse is good. That's the
I
only way
personally
to
do not
resolve
believe
it.
it's
Fellas,
good.
can I
No.
go, man? Can
Sadie,
I
And
just,
talk
how
for a
do
just
they
one last
exist?
point, Sadie, please.
And how do they
I would say
exist?
that they're wrong. And of course, my justification for it would be, of course, because it goes against what God would say. And you earlier in the conversation stated because it goes against your moral preferences, if I'm not
You
mistaken.
contradicted. So you just contradicted yourself. You
How
said,
in the world did I contradict myself?
You said so. You literally made a proposition and its negation. I asked you how would an all-good,
Yo,
all-powerful
vegan.
God allow HCOS? You said,
Vegan.
well, God might think they're good, and then you said they're not.
I never
Vegan.
ever said that I think
Vegan. Is there any standard in this world that anyone should be grounded in, or is it everyone should just believe what they want to believe based on how they feel?
Again, there are no I don't believe in any objectively true moral propositions. If you want to convince me of that, you would have to make an argument for it. So
Okay, so the answer to my question is no. There's no objective standard that anybody should be grounded
That's
in.
a separate
It's up to what
question.
everybody believes, right? So if
I
if
can
a
have my
certain
own
group-
personal opinion on that.
Well, I know, but everybody has their own personal opinion when it comes down to morality, according to you, right? That's what you
Right.
believe. It's up to whoever. It's up to however you feel. Right?
Morality, yeah. So morality and how we develop
we,
moral
we,
systems.
we don't believe that, and the fact that you're coming in this conversation.
Well, whether I don't care if you believe it. I care if you can make an argument for your claim.
brother vegan. We definitely could do this again. To be honest, I've done this before. I love it, but I'm saying this. I definitely want to get back to Sadie really quick because I do 3 hours.
Life, can I talk to him real quick?
But I will
And
say
then-
this. But I will say this. Your position, vegan, is very. It's too open. It allows the substance of evil to seep in to whoever it is that you deal with and whoever it is that you
That
talk
has
to.
nothing to do with the problem of evil.
Because you don't have.
If you can't even define evil, what do you mean? Like,
That
come on.
has
That's-
nothing to do with the problem of evil.
Hold on, guys. I'm gonna just say this and then I'm gonna send them off. Please stop jumping in because it's gonna keep going back and forth. I'm saying this. You don't have anything. You know the term. You don't stand for anything. You don't stand for something. You'll fall for anything.
Oh, I stand for
This is-
things.
this is
It's just
the
that
vote.
I
This is
admit I
the
don't have
vote.
any objective basis.
But
to
this
argue
is the
for it.
boat that you're in because someone could convince you that the H cost is okay. Because
Well,
you don't
guess
have
what?
you're not really fully standard.
Guess
in
what?
why
There's
that's
a religion
wrong.
called
You just feel
Islam
like it's
that
wrong.
allows for tribal genocide. So
You just feel like
the
it's
belief
wrong.
in God, like
Right.
the belief in God does.
Hey, life.
It is
Hey,
not-
Vegan, can I answer you real quick?
Sure.
Hold on.
So,
wait. No, Sadie, we're about to jump back to what we were dealing with. I gave him 30
Yeah,
minutes.
I just
said
need a
was-
minute.
I gave him about 30.
I just need a minute to say what I wanted to
It's
say.
not going to take a minute because he's going to have to respond.
Yeah, like, for word is in the chat, by the way. He's saying he's here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So like I said, vegan, we definitely can do this again. We can. I'll pull up an atheist stream and we can go at it all day. But the problem is that you're gonna have to address, bro.
No, I'm not.
Where you get
No,
where
I'm
you don't
not.
want to have. Okay, well, you don't want to have a real discussion.
If I
You
have
just
to,
wanna have
then
the-
you have to, and you haven't been able to.
We've done it this whole time.
No,
We believe God is the standard of morality.
you literally.
That's why we go to
contradicted
our
that
God.
claim
We
by
tell you
admitting if
our
God
God is the
said
truth.
child rape was okay, you
Our
would not
standard
agree
of-
with God.
Then that wouldn't be God. He wouldn't be
How
God
do
if
you
he said-
know? How do you know?
Because it goes against what he has told us, and we don't believe he
Standard of
contradicts himself.
morality- because the standard of morality comes from the good God that we serve. That's why the owner and the creator of the universe has already dissected and gave us the rulings on what is wrong and what is right. The standard comes
He has
from
no basis.
him.
So
But
there's
we're
no
using-
objective
so we're
basis for
using-
him to make any of those moral claims. That's the issue. So God can say things, but there's no objective
there's no
basis for him to
objective.
make a claim.
Okay, so there's no objective basis for you to make the claim then.
If you're
So
claiming,
you believe God is just like you. You believe the creator
yes,
of the universe.
yes,
the one who
if a
knows
God
everything.
exists, he has no objective basis to make any moral propositions.
So the creator
if
of
that's
the
not
universe
true,
is
then make an
so
argument.
the creator. Wait 1 second. So the creator of the universe, the one who
Make
knows
an argument.
everything, the one who
Make
knows
an
everything, the one who
argument.
knows the future,
Questions
the one who
aren't
knows what's wrong and what's
propositions. Make an
right,
argument.
is just like you. You're saying the
Questions
creator
are
of the
not
universe is just like
propositions.
you.
Make an
Wait a
argument.
minute.
and
Wait a
I already
minute.
answered that question.
In his thought process of what is wrong and what's right, you're saying the creator of the universe is just like you in that thought.
I already answered that, yes. And if you disagree, then make an argument. Questions are not propositions.
I've already given you the argument.
No,
for
you
why
haven't.
Yeah.
Oh, because God is so big.
Do you know everything? Do you know everything? Are you
Do you know
the future?
everything?
Do you know all things?
Do you know all things?
Wait. You're placing yourself in the position to be the same as God in this moral thinking, right? So do you know everything? Do you know the entire population
If
of the
you're
earth
going
humans
to make
and
the
what they will
proposition
do
that God has
from
made
now
objectively
all the
true
way
moral
into the
statements,
earth
then make an
over.
argument
Do you know?
for it. Stop
Do you-
dodging. You're
No,
dodging. You won't answer the
I'm
question.
I'm asking you a question.
You won't
to
answer the
lead it
question.
home.
Yeah,
No,
I
you're
have
running
to
away from
answer
the
an
question
endless
because you
series of
don't.
questions for 10
You
minutes
haven't.
straight. You can't
You
answer
haven't.
the question.
I'm trying to establish why God's
Dodge,
morality.
dodge. I guess you're
Trying to
scared.
establish.
He can't answer the
I'm
question.
dodging when I'm trying to answer your question. That's the problem. You don't want to. You don't want to answer the question. You don't
Questions
wanna
are not
answer.
propositions. You literally just.
I'm not making a proposition. I'm answering it by proving to you that you
Questions
are
are not
not God. You will never be in the position
propositions.
of God because you do not have
Questions
the abilities,
are not
capabilities of what God
propositions.
has. This is the reason why He is the moral
If you
standard.
believe God
He
can
knows
create
what is right
objective
and
moral
what is wrong
truths, then
for
make
us
an argument
humans.
for that.
All right.
I think his problem.
Oh,
he
so
doesn't
I have to
believe
answer all
in
your
God.
questions, but you get to run away because you're scared. Okay.
Just like
Yeah,
you
the
just-
problem is
you just like one of the people that we talked to, what they call the Muslims, the Muslims.
you know, the problem he has is he doesn't believe in the afterlife.
He doesn't
Because-
believe in a God. He doesn't believe in a God. Period. So he doesn't understand how when we say God's moral standard comes from Him because He is the standard. What he thinks
Weird, just like my moral standards come from me.
He thinks we're saying Tom from across the street is the standard. When we address God, we address the creator of the universe, the one who's
Okay, God Logic is literally a fucking retard. He cannot follow the argument at all. He dodges, obfuscates, changes the topic completely for no fucking reason. And then when I ask him if he's claiming God created an objective moral standard, then make an argument for that, he just ends up asking me an endless series of questions. And so he can't even make any fucking propositions in favor of his claim. God Logic is actually fucking mentally retarded, dude. Like, that is one of the dumbest theists I have ever fucking debated. That guy is literally fucking brain dead. Holy shit. That is remarkably disappointing. Who's the fucking idiot in chat that told me to debate God Logic? Literally couldn't come up with an argument, completely changed the topic, and then just infinitely contradicted himself, and then couldn't make an argument for any of his fucking claims. That was so stupid and a complete fucking waste of time.